Mysterious Motorcycle. Written and narrated by Mountain Eyes of Mountain Eyes Narrations, and first posted under the name Phantasmal Poppy. This story occurred roughly between the years of 2008 and 2010. Back then, I had a best friend from high school whom we'll call Terry. Terry was an avid cosplayer. Despite not being much of a people person, the atmosphere of an anime convention at the time was special enough to draw her out of her shell. Had she the option, I believe she would have been at a new con every couple of weeks. Of course, we only had a couple in the region in which we then lived, so she wound up going to a lot of different ones all across the southeastern US. She would drive 10, 12, even 18 hours to attend one of these for a weekend, and then drive home, sometimes with friends riding with her, sometimes with them following, and sometimes alone. This time, she went solo to attend a convention somewhere in Florida, where she had several online pals. They met up and had a grand time the duration of the con, and then Terry left late Sunday night to head back home. The portion of Florida she was traveling through was a bunch of deserted woodland, interrupted only by the seemingly endless highway. At one point, she broke away from the interstate to take another route as a shortcut one of her native Floridian friends had told her about. This road, of course, zigzagged its way through more darkened woodland, which was a lot cooler due to the numerous streams nearby that fed out into hidden marshes. Eventually, she came to a bridge that passed over either part of a river or a very large bluff. It was difficult to tell in the dark. The bridge was just big enough for 2 cars to pass together closely, but due to the late hour, Terry had the place all to herself. In fact, she hadn't seen another car in at least half an hour, nor even another road to turn off onto. If there had been any driveways along her route, they had been obscured enough by the street lamp lacking darkness that Terry had missed them. She also had the windows rolled down, taking in the nice cool air coming off the back hollow road and nearby streams, so she should have noticed if someone was coming upon her. Especially something as loud as a motorcycle. For when Terry reached the start of the bridge, she suddenly saw the sole telltale light of a motorcycle split the darkness behind her. Strange, Terry thought. After all, she really should have noticed if one had been trailing behind her without its light on. Had a cop been hidden off to the shoulder and she not noticed him? Terry wasn't speeding, so she wasn't worried. In fact, the motorcycle might have disappeared from her notice if not for one thing. The moment it reached the end of the bridge, its light winked out. It took Terry a moment to realize that the light had turned off, and she actually slowed down a bit, though not much. Suddenly, she realized that, had a motorcycle really been following her, she would have heard the roar of its engine echoing behind her. Instead, she never heard a thing. Yet despite being alone on that dark country road, Terry didn't feel scared. The incident was strange, yes, but she put it out of her mind and continued on home. It wasn't until she was recounting the story that her grandmother pointed out that perhaps the reason she didn't feel scared was that it was watching over her or other people that crossed that bridge. So, could that really have been it? Was the mysterious motorcycle the ghost of a driver that met their end on a similar dark night on that bridge, who now watches over others who traverse the same path? Was it not really a motorcycle, but someone on a scooter or a bicycle with a bright headlamp instead? Or maybe, just maybe, Terry has a guardian angel who just so happens to like motorcycles.